Hello and welcome to Baseball Book Reports, poorly created by me. Back in 2024, when Pete Rose passed away, I was really curious to learn about the man. He was a ball player who was one generation before I really started getting into baseball, and I kind of heard stories from other people about him. Probably far too late, but I was curious what really made the man tick. So in 2024, I found a book called Charlie Hustle by Keith O'Brien, and it is the most comprehensive book talking about his meteoric rise and meteoric fall from grace and popularity. But when I read the book, I felt like I needed to give Pete Rose a bit more time as well. He has written 3 books himself, so what I did was I read all 3 of Pete Rose's books as well. I've taken all 4 of those books, combined them into one book report, very factual history that I think you're going to really enjoy, and you'll learn a bit more about Pete Rose. So here we go. Baseball book reports. The year is 2024, and Pete Rose gets the book Charlie Hustle by Keith O'Brien and realizes, what the hell? This guy is calling me out on all the stuff that I did accurately. This can't stand. He's going to ruin my good name. So Pete Rose gets in the DeLorean from Back to the Future 2, as you can see that there's Mr. Fusion in the back, and he takes the Charlie Hustle book with him, and he goes back to 1955, and he finds teenager self Pete Rose, and he's like, here, take this Charlie Hustle book, and if you don't bet on the games, you'll never lose. So then Pete Rose takes it, and he's like, yeah, has a great career, does great things, is a legend, people love him, you know, he is the epitome of what people want baseball players to be. Problem is, Pete Rose still did Pete Rose things. He did all of his gambling and carousing, and one of which these women was a 14-year-old when he was in his 30s, which is to me much worse than the gambling. But there it is, folks. Tried to say that it was Ohio, and 16 is the age of consent, and I didn't know she was 14. Either way, still bad. But here we are. So a lot of people try to swoop in and help Pete, coaches, players, friends, family, and even the MLB executives were intervening with him, trying to get him to stop and help. But Pete was just like, nah, man, I'm Pete Rose. I can do whatever I want. So eventually, all that shit caught up with him, and boom, Dowd report and referencing Rule 21. It's like, oh no, man, no, you can't do this. And like, sorry, man, we gave you a whole bunch of chances. This is just what we have to do. We wanted to help you, but you just couldn't help yourself. And now you're banned. So Pete Rose, being Pete Rose, decides, you know what? I'm going to write a book. It's my story. All right. And he wants people to have his perspective. And by his perspective, he means lying to everybody about what happened and taking no accountability. And people read it and they're like, nah, I don't know, Pete. I don't believe you. It doesn't seem right. Okay. And nothing changes. So then a couple of years after that, Pete writes another book, My Prison Without Bars, the most poorly named book ever. Yeah. And he thinks this will surely do it. I'm going to admit to everything I did, but instead of really admitting to it, I'm going to blame other people. My dad was an alcoholic and a dick, and I'm just so competitive, I can't help myself. This is just who I am. And everyone's like, no, you're still not taking any accountability for this, man. This ain't doing it. Pete Rose decides to write another book called Play Hungry. It's his final book. And he's like, okay, I just don't want people to talk about the scandals anymore. I just want them talking about baseball. I'm a baseball player. Let's focus on the baseball, And he writes his book, Play Hungry, and no one reads it because it's not good. It's 40 years later. We already know your career, dude. We don't need to know that you played hard and that you grew up in a difficult place and stuff. We want to know that you're remorseful for what you did. And so then Keith O'Brien gets his hands on everything, including those 3 books, interviews thousands of people, writes a book the way you're supposed to over years and years and years of work, and writes the most comprehensive book called Charlie Hustle. And then Pete Rose gets his hands on this book, and he's like, what the hell is this? Like, you can't do this. And he gets in the DeLorean and goes back to the future, and then he gives it to younger self himself. And then we get stuck in this endless Pete Rose loop of endless Pete Rosing, where like we can't get out of it. He's the hit king, but he did shitty things and he gambled, but he didn't gamble on his own team. But yeah, he did gamble on his own team. He's a cheater. He's a liar. He should be in the Hall of Fame. And it's like, we are now stuck in this loop with the only thing in mind is that Pete Rose did this to himself. He has created this loop that we are all now stuck in and will never get out of. That is really his legacy. So that is my review. I believe it's very accurate. And I hope you enjoyed the first book report. Cheers.